Books feel like fanfiction now, and in today's video we're going to explore why they feel this way and how we can make them feel more like books and less like fanfiction. Hey guys, welcome to the show where it's all about me reading a book and giving my opinion on it and yapping about it basically, and it's probably really bad because I'm a minor, I'm underage, I'm a teenager, and I'm giving a teen review. There are quite a lot of books on the internet that talk about how YA books are getting worse and how they're trashy and how they're not really good, how they're bad. And I'm saying something different. I'm saying that books feel like fanfiction. I'm not saying that YA books are trashy. I'm just saying that they feel not like a book, but like fanfiction, and how that's bad. So don't take this as a criticism toward all YA books or all books. I'm just talking about YA books and specific ones that feel this way. So let me talk about elements that they can have that can make them feel like fanfiction. Now, I am a fanfic writer and reader myself. I have spent the past 3 years just reading and writing fanfiction. If you look at my account, you will know, I'm not showing you my AO3 account, but just know that I love fanfiction. And I'm not saying that fanfiction is bad. I'm saying that books that feel like fanfiction are not really good. That's what I'm saying. Now, I'm not talking about books that feature or talk about fanfic, like Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. Big fan of them, by the way. And no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about books that have the same vibe and books that have these 3 features, which we're going to talk about today. So yeah, big fanfic lover, fanfic author, fanfic reader. However, YA books that feel like fanfiction are not good, and here's why. I had the idea for this video because I was reading a really popular YA book, and I was thinking that, oh my god, these characters, I don't understand them. I feel like I'm reading fanfiction because there's just, everything is so fast and there's just no introduction to any character, and there's no introduction to the world building, there's no quiet time. See, a really good thing about fanfiction, for us fanfic authors, is that we don't need to write character descriptions. We don't need to write world building description. We don't need to do any of that. Or if the plot is canon compliant, which means it follows the original storyline, we don't even have to explain the plot of the story. Because why? Because you have read the story beforehand. You know everything that's going to happen because you have read the source material. So this is sorry, I just noticed that. And that's the really amazing thing about fanfiction. We don't need to do any of that because you have read the source material, so we can just have fun and invent crazy new storylines or crazy new things. And that's the thing about fanfiction. You don't need to introduce every little thing. Now that's what I consider a problem with original fiction, however. In original fiction, we have plots, we have character introduction, we have world-building explanations that need to be done. However, in fanfiction, we don't need to do those things. So when a book has those things, however, it does not explain them or let us sit in it and think about it for a large period of time, I consider that book to feel like fanfiction. Why? Because I am not getting character introductions, I'm not getting world building introductions, and the plot is super hasty and super fast.
Patty, براتون چیز گرفتم به خاطر روز زن.
نازن!
قدر خواهرتو بدون بچه.
This is funny. Was I really feeling something? Okay, whatever. Let's just take it from the top. So as I was saying, if a book does not have a proper character introduction, if it does not have proper world building explanation, if it does not have enough quiet time to tell us what's going on in a way that is showing and not exactly telling, then I think that's a bad book. I think that book feels like fanfiction without the context of fanfiction, and that's really, really, really bad in my opinion. Books are extremely fast nowadays. That's my biggest problem with reading. Because most people prefer to spend their time on social media scrolling, authors have had to make their books faster for people's fried up attention span. And books are just so fast now, and there's no quiet time, there's no explanation time, and it just feels like you're being introduced to someone's OC. However, you can tell that they have developed the OC a lot, but they don't give you all that development. They just spew it on you. And that's the problem. With books, we need to have information sprinkled in at the appropriate time and not just thrust at us with barely any warning, if you know what I mean. So we need information to be sprinkled in at the appropriate times, not just whenever or not just at the start and then never explained again. And I think that's the biggest problem with YA books nowadays. Now let's talk about tropes. I'm sure you've been waiting for this segment of the video because tropes are a significant or recurrent theme, or better known as a motif. Now, tropes were, back in the day, they were mostly for fanfiction, and that doesn't mean that tropes didn't exist in fiction or in movies. They did exist in them. However, they were not used as advertisements. Let me put on my glasses so you know I'm getting serious. But yeah, back in the day, tropes were not used as advertisement, but nowadays it is common to hear, oh, this is an enemies to lovers, fake dating, there's only one bed type of book. And in the good old days, we relied on genre and the author's history to know if we were going to like a book or not. However, nowadays, there's just tropes. Some popular tropes include there's only one bed, so they have to choose, are they going to sleep together or not? Enemies to lovers, which of course they're going to turn into lovers because they just can't resist each other. And also fake dating, because it's also going to turn into real dating and they're going to fall for each other because they're just meant to be with each other. And I love these tropes. Not really fake dating because I haven't really read much of that, but I love these tropes. I love tropes so much. I love fanfiction, I love tropes. However, the problem arises when we start to advertise these books not for their plot and not for their interesting characters, but for the tropes themselves, which just feels cheap and tacky. Yeah, it just feels cheap and tacky. It feels wrong. And my love for fanfiction is because you get these tags that tell you what the fic is going to be about, and that's awesome. That works for fanfiction. However, for books, not so much, because books are supposed to have an original plot. Fanfiction does not need an original plot. I have read like 2,000 fics of like the two same people falling in love just in different ways, and that's fine because it's fanfiction. It's supposed to be fun. However, with books, they're supposed to have an original plot, or at least semi-original, and tropes don't really scream original to me. See, tropes need to be a building block or something that is just sprinkled in. I'm using the word sprinkled so much, but something that is just sprinkled in at the right times to make that book feel exciting. However, tropes are being used as the main thing, the main attractiveness of a book, and that's wrong to me. That just feels really, really wrong. That's a big problem. And books feel more like checklists than actual books. There's just a checklist of everything that people on Book Talk will like, and the book just has all of them, and that just feels so wrong to me. Another thing is titles. Titles nowadays, they have rather a lot of internet slang and things that you will hear on the internet. Like, the biggest perpetrator of this is, I think, And They Were Roommates, which is a popular... نه خواهش میکنم. گفتم نیا.
خب من نشینم. من بعد لباسم آموز میکنم دیگه.
پس چیزی نگو. بذار حرفم بزنم. چیزی نگو. The biggest perpetrator of this is And They Were Roommates, which is a phrase that's used a lot on AO3, and it's the name of an actual book. Feels a little bit tacky. I haven't read the book yet, and I think I'll really, really, really like it because it just sounds really interesting. However, the title is kind of unfortunate. It's a really clever title, don't get me wrong, but it is kind of unfortunate. The other thing is, and not so meat cute? What's that even supposed to mean? And not so cute meat? What's it supposed to mean? Again, I don't even know what the story is about, but if it's not queer, then I probably won't like it. I don't really like hetero romances that much anymore. Percebeth was the best hetero romance ever, and after that I just haven't been able to read anything else, sorry. So yeah, titles are starting to reflect the internet, and while that's not necessarily a bad thing, it's not necessarily a good thing either. It just really screams lyrics as titles, which is a really popular trend in AO3, where the title is a popular lyric, or from a song that really relates to the fic. However, that's actually starting to become a thing. Like, there's a section, I think I saw a photo where there was a section in a bookstore that was just titled Taylor Swift, and all the books had the titles that related to her songs. And that just instantly made me cringe so hard, because what do you mean? Literally, what do you mean? That's just insane. Sorry, I just can't believe that. And now we get to the section of the video where I'm going to talk about how we can get rid of this tropification, how we can get rid of this feeling in books, how we can get rid of this fanfiction-esque vibe. And how we can do that is by focusing in on character motivation and focusing in what makes your book yours and what makes your book special. So I'm talking to writers here, future book writers. You're gonna write the coolest new books, so I'm gonna talk to you specifically. We need more focus on character motivation, more focus on why your story is important to you, on why it's different from all the other stories. Stop focusing on what readers want and start focusing on what you want the reader to feel. I know that's not what publishers want, but just think of it this way, and then you can focus on how to include things that publishers would like. So the first draft should be for you and for you only, and then you can focus on making it appealing to wider audiences. That was so motivational. So I hope you like the new haircut. I did it myself. I have bangs now. Bangs. I hope you really liked this. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it helped you in some way. I don't know. I hope that for all of my videos. And this is only the second video, so I'm gonna have to say this because I always forget to say this at the end of the videos. So please like the video if you liked it. Please comment something. I love hearing from people. Unfortunately, on YouTube, there isn't a really big commenting culture, because on Tumblr, if you like something, you tell the person. So please like this video and comment if you liked it, so I will find out about it. And please recommend me some movies or good books that don't feel like a trope fest. Please recommend me, I beg you. And just share your experience in the comments. And oh my god, I'm slipping off the bed. Yeah, there's literally nowhere else in the house to film, so we just have to resort to the bed. I have homework.